Hey, it's Chris and Lisa from Been There, Got Out. And we're going to do something today that we did a few times over the past month or two, and that's go to our survey and look at some things that people posted there to address some of the issues that are front and center for you right now.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so one person said, which is very common, I need reassurance that I'm not crazy here because I feel like my life has been sucked out of me right now. 10 people later, somebody said, remember who I am and that I'm not alone. At times I feel like I am all the things he says I am. I can't tell you how often through these surveys, messages, emails, posts to our blogs, people constantly feel like they're the crazy ones. But I have to tell you that by being here in the first place, you're probably not the crazy one. So let this be the answer that you're looking for, that you're not the crazy one. You've been emotionally manipulated and probably psychologically abused for who knows how long, and feeling like you're the one who's created all the problems and is nuts is just because that's what they've wanted you to think. Because it takes the blame.
And I so relate to that because I felt like, I was in this unique situation. I was the only one in the world with this problem, that it was me. I used to walk around saying I've lost my center. That's how I felt. I've lost my center. But it took years, to transition from this good life that I had to this insanity. With 14, we were together 14 years.
Yeah. But keep in mind, it's very, very common. We hear this all the time, and you are definitely not alone. Okay, Chris.
All right, so
Next.
the next one, this one's kind of a long one. I've been faithfully married to an abusive, mainly verbally, emotionally, and sometimes physically abusive man for 24 years. Last year at the end of April, I moved upstairs in our home in hopes of getting my husband to wake up and get some help for his abusive behavior. Instead of doing just that, he chose to begin an affair that lasted 2.5 months until he was caught by my private investigator. After he was caught, he began to beg for me to take him back and also admitted to other affairs throughout our marriage, including an 8+ year affair with another woman. I kicked him out in June and filed a divorce on grounds of adultery in July. Since then, he has continuously asked me to come back and still see other women, living with one right now, and continues to lie as well. I persistently said no to him and proceeding with divorce. Why is he continuing to ask me to come back? What is his real motive? He texts me to give him a chance every other day. And I almost said the name.
Yeah.
We're
not saying your
ever
name.
going to use your name in these things, but
Yeah.
hopefully it's okay to reuse.
Okay, so why, Chris, why is he having affairs all the time and yet still asking this woman to come back?
Well, so, the first thing that pops into mind is it's all about power and control, right? And as long as this woman is giving him an opportunity to kind of keep her, even if it's only halfway, on the hook, he's going to manipulate that and try to take advantage of that to the best of his ability. So he's doing the same thing now with another woman who he's living with, and they just want to get the satisfaction. We call it supply term, but
I was about to say
yeah, they get the satisfaction of having the ability to exert power and control over you in your life.
Right, and they want as many sources of this supply as possible. So the fact that he's got the 8+ year relationship with one woman, another one here, you there, he wants to keep you in the loop, because when someone doesn't give him as much attention, he's going to come to you. Then when you're not giving him attention, it's like a juggler. So that's why. Okay, next. Okay, somebody says, I don't want to leave him. I just want him to stop lying. I can relate to this. We do get along really well. Will he ever change? And just a few later, another person said, tell me why the likelihood of changing is slim to none. Okay, I thought it was first interesting. I don't want to leave him, I just want him to stop lying, but we get along really well. You really need to think about what is the basis of your relationship, because for most healthy relationships, it's one of trust. So here you've acknowledged that somebody has been lying to you, who knows how long, and you want him to stop. Will he change? My answer is absolutely not. What's yours?
Well, I mean, I'll go just that's probably enough of an answer, but I'll go just a little deeper. The issues that we deal with here at Been There, Got Out, narcissism and other toxic personality disorders. As a general rule, people, when that's the core issue, they don't change. And that sounds like, certainly if you've taken our quiz, that sounds like it's probably the core issue. So that supports what Lisa said. But, could be that there's something else going on, but probably not.
Yeah, I can't remember
So-
if I already said it. So a few later, someone said, "Tell me why the likelihood
Yeah,
of changing is
you
slim
did.
to none."
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
because these
it's-
people, it's a core mental health issue. It's rarely acknowledged. It's uncommonly diagnosed, and it really only rarely can be treated. It would have to be somebody who has only very mild case of narcissism, and
Yeah, that goes right into the next question.
yeah. So this is me, right? I believe he has issues from his past that haven't been dealt with. He's a very angry man, so I think that counseling could help.
Okay, so what we just said about capable of change, counseling could help if he is the one who wants to go to counseling. He is the one pressing for counseling for himself. I am guessing that it's you who think that counseling could help him.
Yeah, and if he's, it's the same answer as before. If the root problem is narcissism or another toxic personality disorder, counseling is probably not going to help. If it's something else, maybe, and certainly to Lisa's point, if he's the one, or if he's very open to it, or he's the one that's seeking it out, then
my first
that gives
relationship.
you a better chance. But
Certainly,
I got married relatively later.
I don't know
in
this
lifetime.
time.
So you can see a theme here, right? But
Yes.
I do remember that
People have
feeling
problems that they
as it was all unraveling,
believe
and there was a period when
Right,
I
and
wasn't
those last
sure
couple of emails, it's really us who say we want him to change, we want him to stop lying, we want this to stop. We can't control somebody else's patterns of behavior. So we really can just change ourselves and control ourselves. Okay, so next, and this has also come up a lot, somebody says, "Tell me how to break it off when I have no friends." You want me to start or you want to start?
No, go ahead.
Let me start, okay.
Yeah, I've been
All right.
doing a lot of talking.
Okay, all right. So, how to break it off when you have no friends? You really shouldn't break it off when you have no friends, because think about it, in most of these relationships, your partner, your toxic partner, has managed to isolate you for weeks, months, probably years, and they've cut you off from not just your friends, but probably your family and any type of support system. And so you can't just leave because you've probably made your partner your world. And so that's part of the reason why often when people leave, they find themselves drawn back to their partner, even though they know that that person is unhealthy and they don't feel good, but that's all that they have. So how to break it off when you have no friends is a little bit too much in depth to get to.
I tried to
in
be
this
happy in
little
this
video,
relationship and
but in the
nothing
next
works.
couple of weeks,
My
we
last
are going to
option
send
is to
out some
move
emails
forward.
which get into
He
a
was
little
my
more
first
depth
and
on
last
how to do this
relationship. No
when you
more
don't have friends or a
relationships for
support
me.
system. And then in our upcoming lifeboat course, we will definitely get into this even deeper.
All right.
Your turn.
Well, I mean, you basically said it all. It's so difficult to leave someone when you don't have at least the beginnings of a support network in place. So I think you said it nicely.
Okay.
So the next one, here's another long one. I'm getting all the long ones.
I know.
I'm dealing with mostly verbal abuse, being accused of being a thief because I have more savings in my name. He says I stole it from him, even though he knows that's not true. He has said some terrible things about me and my family. I have to say I have stood my ground and tried to state my case, and I'm not physically afraid of him. This has been going on for years. Sometimes things are okay, and then suddenly, for some unknown reason, all the crap is repeated. You ready for this?
Yep.
This is a new record in our experience. We've been married for 50 years, and I'm 79 years old, and I'm finding it more and more to deal with.
Okay. So we're guessing that most of you are not close to 79 years old and have not been married for 50 years. But think about your life now. Do you want to spend 50 years living through this and finding more and more to deal with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe when I.
You're both like, whoa.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay, next. I've tried to be happy in this relationship and nothing works. My last option is to move forward. He was my first and last relationship. No more relationships for me.
So, I can relate to the feeling now. My ex-wife, I got married relatively late, like compared to some of my friends. I was in my mid-30s when I met her. But I did feel at the end like, oh my God, like I'm lost. My whole world was her. I remember she had a ridiculous line she said about, me falling off her planet, which was just the craziest thing. But yeah, what I would say is, you don't have to decide your whole future right now. Right now it's about getting out of an unhealthy situation, healing yourself, putting yourself first, and the rest of it, you have your whole life in front of you. The rest of it can unfold, as it may.
Yeah.
Heading forward.
You never know what's going to happen. And the other thing is, part of recovering from an abusive relationship is learning how to set healthy boundaries, and also learning how to avoid, hopefully, future toxic people. And part of that comes with recognizing what drew you to that person in the first place, which is some of the stuff we'll be getting into in our lifeboat course and other courses as well. But in a way, if you think about it, like Chris said, you can't make any big decisions now. You shouldn't make any big decisions now. But to have one relationship in your whole life and it's bad, to just give up on anything is kind of sad. And also, it wouldn't give you the opportunity to actually practice when you've healed what you've learned on a new relationship, to see, are you able to establish healthy boundaries? Are you able to find love and respect from another person? So just try to stay open-minded. You never know what's going to happen. Most of us feel exactly this way, and many people go on for the rest of their lives never trusting again because trust has been broken and they feel like, I'll never be vulnerable. But we felt the same, and
Yeah.
It happens. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know why people are put in your lives to teach you something. So just see what happens.
Yeah, we're living proof. We both went through our own hell, our own hells.
Yeah, and we felt the exact same way, even though it wasn't my marriage wasn't my first relationship either, but it was for about 20 years, and I thought, I'm done. But
Yeah.
you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got to the point where I don't think anyone can do anything to change it, only me by leaving. But being the age I am, that is difficult. I don't know if this person means they're very young or they're very old or where.
That's
I'm not sure. Sometimes it's good to know that there are other people out there in similar situations. And that's so true. Having the support of people who get it, not just maybe your family members who love you and your friends who love you, but they don't understand toxic personality disorders. There's just something so important about having people who actually understand this stuff. And that's why one of the reasons that Lisa and I have started Been There, Got Out is to build that community, because it's so valuable, and it's something you and I didn't have.
Right.
Right? When we were going through it.
Right. In the midst of it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why knowing that there's other, because we all feel so alone. So knowing that there are other people going through the same thing just validates your experience. And I remember after getting out of my toxic relationship and gradually meeting people and just the epiphanies that happened, where it was like, oh my God, the same thing. Like, he said the same things to me. I couldn't believe how many things we had in common, and I just felt so much better. It felt like such a weight was lifted, because you learn that it's just not your fault. Like, you didn't create this situation. So it is very comforting, and that's why we're trying to build this community. And the last thing is, the last comment, which was so powerful to me and fits with what I just said, is somebody said, find me a refuge. And it really struck me, because for those of us that are still in these situations, and I imagine most of us still are, and even those who are out but we're still struggling, it's hard to imagine what a refuge looks like, because even if you put yourself in this beautiful paradise of a place, that doesn't mean that you'll actually feel okay. So to me, the refuge in the short term is exactly what we just talked about. It's finding a community of people that really see you for who you are and value you and don't judge you, and you don't need to feel ashamed around. Because for so long you've been ignored, your feelings haven't mattered. And so wouldn't it be wonderful to find other people who feel the same way and totally get you?
Yeah, yeah. So we're reading these responses from our survey, and we read them almost every day. And so still, if you haven't responded yet, go to beenthere.com/survey, and we'd love to hear what you have to say, what your situation is, how we might be able to help you.
Yeah.